What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Team Member Perspective podcast show. I'm your host, Coulter, and first things first, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for tuning in each week. My hope is that you're getting something out of this that has allowed you to sell more policies or think bigger and just have a more fulfilling role in the agency. And for those of you that are not in the insurance space, I appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Again, I hope that you are taking something out of this and that it has been a return on your time. And so that is my hope today with this episode as we go into productivity. Productivity to me is very important. And it's clear that those that are doing a lot more than the average, it's not that they have more time, but it's how they're using their time that matters. If you look at someone that's doing a lot more than you, they don't have more time. But if you look at someone that's doing a lot less than you, they also don't have less time. We all have the same amount of time. We all have the same 8 hours in the day, but it's how we choose to use that time that matters. And so today, we're going to talk about productivity. And I'm going to share a few things that I have done to allow myself to be more productive, specifically as a salesperson in the insurance space. The first thing that I want to talk about is this. You need to understand yourself. You need to know yourself and know at what part of the day it's easiest for you to be the most productive. Maybe you're a morning person like me, and it's really easy to be productive right as soon as you get into the office. And that's when you're most fresh. That's when ideas seem to kind of just flow for you. And the conversations seem to flow for you. Maybe you're a morning person. Great. It's important to know that. Maybe you're not. Maybe the mornings are really hard for you and it takes time for you to warm up. And you might be more of an afternoon person. After lunch is when it's easiest for you to be the most productive. You need to know that, right? Because instead of trying to get yourself to be really productive in the morning and, kind of have that resistance when you're clearly not a morning person, just go with whatever is easiest for you, right? Now, if you're not an afternoon person, you're a morning person, and you're really trying to pull teeth to get a lot done in the afternoon, I think we're working a lot harder than we actually have to work. And so understanding yourself, knowing yourself, and when you find it the most easiest to be productive, during that time, that is when you need to work on the money-making activities. That is the time when you need to work, if you're a salesperson, you need to make your outbound calls. You need to work the lists. You need to do your follow-up calls. Utilize that time when you're most productive to do that. The second thing is this. Utilize weekly planning and daily planning so that you can be more productive. It allows you to be intentional with what you're doing into the office. Many of us have shown up to the office on a Monday and you get your computers loaded up and you start looking through your email, and then you look at the week and you're like, what in the heck do I do? Right? We don't want to be there. We want to be able to show up on Monday and know exactly what our intention is for that week so we can go out and actually be productive, actually do the work that's going to move the needle for us. So for me, I like to set aside time on Sundays to kind of think about my week, allow myself to do a brain dump of what maybe I missed out on last week, what worked well, what didn't, kind of analyze last week, but also think about what I want to accomplish this upcoming week. And then just start making almost like a big old task list of what I want to remember to do, what I need to do, and areas that I want to improve in. And when I have that weekly plan, then I can show up on Monday and I already know what I need to do, what I want to do. So instead of me thinking about what to do, I can just start doing. And for me, what I also like to do is I like to take it a step further. And at the end of every day, 5 o'clock, when you have, things are a little bit slower, I like to look at the next day and reference to my weekly plan and kind of see how I did that day, see what I can do differently tomorrow, but then schedule in what I want to accomplish tomorrow so that, again, I can show up on Tuesday morning and instead of thinking about what to do, I can just start doing. That has allowed me to have intention, which in turn has allowed me to be more productive without thinking too much about it. Because what I found is that if I allow myself to just think too much about it, it becomes kind of an analysis paralysis situation where I find myself spending way more time and energy thinking about doing than doing itself, right? So it's just be proactive, set aside time, be intentional with your week, be intentional with your day, and you will find that you are a lot more productive. At least I have. The third thing, probably one of my most favorite, one of the things that has moved the needle for me the most in productivity is to chunk your day into 2 or 3. For me, I like to do it into 3, okay? And I learned this when I was a door-to-door salesman. I remember calling up my sales manager and I asked him like, look, I'm really good at selling one TV service a day. In fact, I was on like a 72, 74 day streak where I didn't miss a day. I was selling one every single day, but I couldn't get to selling 2 to 3 to 4 consistently a day. It was just like I was really good at one. And so I had like this mindset block. And so I called up my sales manager. I said, look, what do I need to do? Like, here's kind of what's going on. And I remember he asked me a couple of questions, but one of the things that he mentioned, he's like, look, try chunking your day into 3. Instead of, getting out on the doors and it's like 1 till 9 p.m., why don't you go, 1 to 3:30, 3:30 to 6:30, and 6:30 to 9. Now you have 3 days in one day instead of 1 day in one day. And I remember in my mind thinking like, come on, like what? What do you mean? I don't feel like that's going to work. This wasn't what I was looking for. But I remember being like, all right, like I need to try something new if I want to, start selling more than one a day consistently. And so I remember implementing it. And right away, I started to see what he meant. What I realized was this: if I could just approach my day in 3 chunks, I get out on the doors at 1 p.m. and it's like, all right, I've got till 3:30 to sell one account. It allowed me to be a lot more focused, a lot more intentional with that period of time. And then when the second part of the day, say 3:30 rolled around, it was like, okay, I could kind of reset and allow myself to get ready for the second part of the day and go in again with a lot of focus and a lot of intention to get another TV account sold within that second part of the day, and then again on that third part of the day. And so it really was refreshing for me and allowed me to have a break, really just be focused in on chunks of my day instead of the full day as one. And what did it do? Well, it allowed me to start to be more consistent, selling 2, 3, 4 a day instead of just 1 a day. And that is something that as a team member, I would implement in what I did. That's what I attribute me selling 200 plus life insurance applications every year consistently for 4 years. That was a big piece to it. I would get into the office at 9 o'clock and I'd say, okay, I've got until noon. This is my first chunk of my day to sell a life insurance policy. It allowed me to be very intentional, very focused. And instead of giving myself all 8 hours of the day to sell one life policy, I gave myself 3 hours to sell one life policy. And then again, my afternoon chunk, the first chunk, I gave myself another 3 hours to sell a life policy, and then another 2 to 3 at the end to do that. And I don't know, try it out. It truly worked for me, but I truly feel that it's a hack and will allow you to get 15 working days in a week instead of just 5. Definitely probably my all-time favorite productivity hack that I learned. And I hope that it can work for you in the same way that it has worked for me. Next thing is this. Number 4, work on the money-making activities first. Work on the money-making activities first. That is your role in the agency. It's to sell policies. So why are you getting to the office at 9 o'clock, pulling up your emails, and starting with the service work? Why are we doing that? That's a sure way to just hope that we find time to work on our sales activities, to work on the things that actually make us money, that actually make a difference in people's lives. Work on the money-making activities first because that is your priority. And then go to those other activities. That is a sure way to make sure that you're getting done what you need to get done every single day. That is a sure way to ensure that you are being productive, is to work on the activities that actually make you money first. Then go to the service stuff, then go to the rest of the stuff. That is intention. And I believe that you get more of what you focus on. So if you can show up at 9 o'clock with a lot of focus on, you know what, I need to get into life insurance conversations with my customers, and my goal is to sell a life insurance policy before noon, a lot starts to happen for you. You're going to get more of what you focus on. You're going to create more life insurance opportunities. People are going to call in asking about life insurance. You're going to pull up to the office on a Tuesday, open up your email, and you're going to see that you have an email from a customer asking if you do life insurance. You get more of what you focus on. Whatever you focus on expands. And the cool thing is, let's say that you did write a life policy between 9 and noon. Think about what that's going to do for you in the rest of the day. It's going to give you a lot of momentum. You will be able to check off that, you know what, I'm getting that much closer to my goals today, to this week. And it will allow you to work more freely and work from in a place of abundance instead of a place of scarcity, a place of freedom instead of a place of need. I don't know. This stuff might sound woo-wooey to you, but it works if you just work it, okay? And so, again, work on the stuff that makes you money first. That is your priority. That is your role. And then approach the other stuff. I find that team members have that backwards. They're focusing on their email, letting their email dictate their day. They're letting, that dictate their day instead of them dictating their day. So if you want to take control of your production this year, then work on the most important activities, the ones that make you money, the ones that move the needle first. And for me, those were outbound calls to quote new business, follow-up calls, and maybe calling our current customers to set up reviews, to pitch different policies, whatever it is. Work on the money-making activities first. And then the last two things that I will mention, so I guess we're on number 5 here, is utilize power hours. Power hours are great that allow you to kind of forget about everything else and just focus in for an hour and make calls on a life list, make calls on a health list, make your follow-up calls. And guys, guess what? It doesn't have to be an hour. It could be 20 minutes. It could be a half hour. Just set aside time that you will dedicate to one thing and just bust it out. You can get a lot done in that small chunk of time if you can just commit to being focused. Now, the way that this actually happens is that you've got to schedule it. If you're relying on finding the time and just, I'll find it today, I'll figure out how to do it, you're not going to find it. You've got to absolutely make the time, or you're not going to find the time. Make the time. You're not going to find it. And then the last tip that has helped me in my productivity is utilizing mini breaks. And I'm kind of almost talking to myself here, but to be more productive, you need to give yourself time to rest and reset. And if you find that you're getting frustrated, your fuse is short, you feel that your productivity and effectiveness is kind of just diminishing, get out of the office. Go take a walk, go to a store, go get a drink, and just allow yourself time to rest and reset so that when you come back, you can be more effective with your time, right? You can be more productive, and that, your work carries a lot more weight, instead of just, banging your head against the wall, trying to figure out how to get the next customer to listen to you, right? Utilize mini breaks, give yourself time to rest, and you will find that you are more productive when you come back because it allows yourself time to reset. So, guys, I hope this has helped. I hope there's a few things that you can take away, implement into what you're doing, into your day-to-day, so that you can be more productive, so that you can have more effective conversations, write more policies, make more money, spread your impact with your customers, and have a more fulfilling role as a team member in the agency. Appreciate you guys, and we will catch you in the next episode.